Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my other socials for more. Enjoy.
Kevin, are you still down there?
A female voice called from upstairs. The gamer barely registered the sound, too engrossed in his virtual world. Footsteps echoed on the stairs, growing louder as they approached. For crying out loud, Kevin, it's past noon. Have you been up all night again? Kevin's sister, Emma, stood in the doorway, arms crossed and a disapproving frown on her face. Her crisp white blouse and tailored black pants contrasted sharply with Kevin's wrinkled t-shirt and sweatpants. Just 5 more minutes, Kevin mumbled, his eyes never leaving the screen. Emma sighed and strode across the room, unplugging the computer with a swift yank. Hey, what the hell? Kevin spun around, finally facing his sister. This has gone on long enough.
You're 25 years old, Kevin. You can't spend your entire life in Mom and Dad's basement playing video games.
Kevin ran a hand through his greasy hair.
I'm not hurting anyone. What's the big deal? The big deal is that you're wasting your life. When was the last time you went outside? Had a real conversation with someone? Applied for a job?
Kevin slouched in his chair, avoiding eye contact.
I don't need all that stuff. I'm fine here.
Emma's expression softened. Look, I know things have been tough since you dropped out of college, but this isn't the answer. You need to get out there and start living. And do what? I'm not good at anything except games. That's because you haven't tried anything else. You're smart, Kevin. You just need to apply yourself to something real. Kevin stared at the blank computer screen, feeling lost without its glow. I wouldn't even know where to start. Emma reached into her purse and pulled out a small device. I'm going to put this on the router. It'll block your access to gaming sites and limit your internet time. Consider it tough love. You can't do that, Kevin protested, but Emma was already heading back upstairs. I can, and I am. Go outside, Kevin. Take a walk. Talk to people. Just do something. The door closed behind her, leaving Kevin alone in the dim basement. He sat there for a long moment, feeling adrift without the familiar comfort of his games. Finally, with a heavy sigh, he stood up and trudged up the stairs. The sunlight was harsh on Kevin's eyes as he stepped outside for the first time in days. He squinted, raising a hand to shield his face. The neighborhood seemed unnaturally quiet compared to the constant noise and action of his games. Kevin shoved his hands in his pockets and started walking, no particular destination in mind. His pale skin felt strange in the warmth of the sun, and his legs protested after so long spent sitting. As he rounded a corner, lost in thought, he collided with someone. Kevin stumbled back, apologies already forming on his lips.
Lo siento, amigo, I didn't see you there.
Kevin looked up to see a middle-aged Mexican man with a friendly smile. He wore a colorful serape draped over one shoulder and held a stack of CDs in his arms.
No, it's my fault,
Kevin mumbled. I wasn't paying attention. The man's eyes twinkled. But sometimes it is when we are not looking that we find what we need, no? He shuffled through his CDs and pulled one out. Here, take this. A gift to make up for our little accident. Kevin accepted the CD hesitantly. The case was blank with no label or artwork. What is it? A game, my friend. But not just any game. This one, it has the power to change lives. The man winked. Enjoy and remember. Be careful what you wish for. Before Kevin could respond, the strange man had disappeared around the corner. Kevin stared at the CD in his hand, curiosity warring with suspicion. After a moment's hesitation, he turned and headed back home. Back in the basement, Kevin examined the CD more closely. It was a plain silver disc, unmarked except for a small symbol etched near the center, a stylized hourglass. His sister's words echoed in his mind, but the temptation was too strong. He inserted the disc into his computer. The screen flickered to life, displaying a simple title, Dream Girl Creator. Kevin's eyebrows rose. This wasn't his usual type of game, but something about it called to him. He clicked Start. A character creation screen appeared, more detailed than any Kevin had seen before. It allowed him to customize every aspect of a female avatar, from hair color to personality traits. Intrigued, Kevin began to experiment. He started with physical features, crafting a girl with long, dark hair and bright green eyes. He adjusted her height, gave her a slim but curvy figure, and added a spattering of freckles across her nose. As he worked, Kevin felt a strange tingling sensation in his scalp. He reached up to scratch it, then paused as he noticed a long, dark hair between his fingers. Frowning, he pulled it away, only to find another and another. Heart racing, Kevin looked down at his arms. The hair there seemed to be receding, his skin becoming smoother. He jumped up, knocking his chair over as he rushed to the small mirror on the wall. His reflection stared back at him in shock. His hair was growing longer by the second, darkening to match the shade he'd chosen in the game. His eyes, once a dull brown, now shimmered with flecks of green. "What the hell?" Kevin whispered, his voice higher than usual. He stumbled back to the computer, his body feeling strange and off balance. The character on the screen was changing too, becoming more defined as Kevin's own form shifted. Panic set in as Kevin realized what was happening. He was turning into the girl he'd created. He reached for the power button, desperate to stop the process, but his hand froze inches away. Part of him, a growing part, wanted to see this through. With trembling fingers, Kevin continued customizing the avatar. He chose a bubbly personality, a love for outdoor activities, and a talent for art. With each selection, he felt his own mind changing, new thoughts and desires blossoming. His body continued to transform. His chest swelled, forming gentle curves beneath his now oversized t-shirt. His waist narrowed, hips widening to create an hourglass figure. His face softened, features becoming delicate and feminine. By the time the transformation was complete, Kevin, now Kira, sat in stunned silence, staring at her reflection in the black screen of the powered-down computer. "Oh my God," she whispered, her new voice melodic and unfamiliar. "What have I done?" Kira stood on shaky legs, her center of gravity completely altered. She stumbled to the full-length mirror in the corner of the basement, pulling off her baggy clothes as she went. The girl who stared back at her was beautiful, exactly as she'd designed in the game. Long, silky dark hair fell past her shoulders. Bright green eyes, wide with shock, peered out from a heart-shaped face dusted with freckles. Her body was slim but curvy, skin smooth and unblemished. Kira ran her hands over her new form, marveling at the softness of her skin, the weight of her chest, the curve of her hips. It felt alien, and yet somehow right, as if this was how she was always meant to be. A flood of new sensations and emotions washed over her. The dank basement suddenly felt claustrophobic. She longed to be outside, to feel the sun on her skin and the grass beneath her feet. The thought of spending another minute in front of a computer screen seemed absurd. With a start, Kira realized she had no clothes that would fit her new body. She wrapped herself in a blanket and crept upstairs, praying her sister had already left for work. The house was blissfully empty. Kira made her way to Emma's room, feeling a twinge of guilt as she rummaged through her sister's closet. She pulled out a sundress in a pale yellow that complemented her new coloring perfectly. As she slipped the dress over her head, Kira caught sight of herself in Emma's full-length mirror. The girl who looked back at her was a stranger, and yet she felt more like herself than she ever had as Kevin. A smile spread across her face, and she twirled, watching the skirt of the dress flare out around her. For the first time in years, she felt light, free, full of possibility. The urge to go outside, to experience the world with her new senses, was overwhelming. Kira grabbed a pair of sandals and headed for the door, pausing only to scribble a quick note for her sister. "Gone out? We need to talk when I get back. Kay." As she stepped outside, Kira took a deep breath, savoring the scents of flowers and freshly cut grass. The warmth of the sun on her bare shoulders felt divine. She set off down the sidewalk with a spring in her step, drinking in the sights and sounds of the neighborhood as if seeing them for the first time. People she'd never noticed before smiled and waved as she passed. Kira found herself waving back, a bubbly "hello" escaping her lips before she could think twice. She wandered into the local park, marveling at the vibrant colors of the flowers and the way the light dappled through the leaves. An easel caught her eye, set up near a picturesque pond. Without hesitation, Kira approached the artist, a middle-aged woman with paint-splattered overalls. "That's beautiful," Kira said, admiring the half-finished landscape on the canvas. The woman looked up with a smile. "Thank you, dear. Do you paint?" Kira opened her mouth to say no, but stopped. A lifetime of memories flooded her mind. Art classes, sketchbooks filled with drawings, the joy of creating. "I used to," she heard herself say. "I'd love to get back into it." "Well, why don't you join me? I have an extra easel in my car." Before she knew it, Kira found herself with a paintbrush in hand, working on her own canvas beside the friendly artist. Her hands seemed to know exactly what to do, creating a beautiful scene with confident strokes. As she painted, Kira chatted easily with her new acquaintance, surprised at how natural it felt. They talked about art techniques, favorite painters, and the best spots in town to capture on canvas. Hours passed in what felt like minutes. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the park, Kira reluctantly packed up her borrowed supplies. "You've got a real talent," the artist, who had introduced herself as Margaret, said. Kira beamed. "Thank you so much." As she walked home, Kira's mind was buzzing with plans and possibilities. She felt more alive than she had in years, excited about the future in a way she'd never experienced as Kevin. Reality came crashing back as she approached her house and saw Emma's car in the driveway. Kira's steps slowed, her stomach churning with anxiety. How could she possibly explain this? Taking a deep breath, she opened the front door. "Emma!" she called out, her new voice still startling to her own ears. "In here," Emma's voice replied from the living room. "Who's there?" Kira stepped into the room, wringing her hands nervously. Emma looked up from her laptop, her eyes widening in shock. "Who are you? How did you get in here?" Emma demanded, standing up. "Emma, it's me. It's Kevin." Kira's voice trembled. "I know this is hard to believe, but something happened." Emma's face cycled through a range of emotions. Confusion, disbelief, anger. "Is this some kind of joke? Because it's not funny." "It's not a joke," Kira insisted. "That CD I got today, it was some kind of magic or super advanced technology. It let me create a girl, and then I turned into her." Emma sank back onto the couch, shaking her head. "This is insane! You expect me to believe my brother turned into you?" Kira sat down next to her sister. "I know it sounds crazy, but ask me anything, something only Kevin would know." For the next hour, Kira answered question after question, recounting shared childhood memories, inside jokes, family secrets. With each correct answer, Emma's disbelief slowly gave way to amazement. "Oh my God," Emma whispered finally. "It really is you. But how? Why?" Kira shrugged, a small smile playing on her lips. "I don't know how exactly. As for why, I think I needed a change. A big one." Emma reached out hesitantly, touching Kira's arm as if to confirm she was real. "So, what now? Are you stuck like this?" "I don't know," Kira admitted. "But I don't think I want to change back. For the first time in years, I feel right. Like I'm finally the person I was meant to be." Emma was quiet for a long moment, processing. Then she surprised Kira by pulling her into a tight hug. "Well, little sister," she said, her voice thick with emotion, "I guess we have some shopping to do. You can't keep wearing my clothes." Kira laughed, tears of relief and joy spilling down her cheeks. "Thank you," she whispered, "for understanding, for everything." As they pulled apart, Emma wiped her own eyes. "So tell me about your day. Did you actually go outside like I told you to?" Kira's face lit up as she launched into a detailed account of her afternoon in the park, her newfound passion for art, and the friendly people she'd met. Emma listened with growing amazement, seeing the spark of life in her sibling that had been missing for so long. "I'm proud of you," Emma said when Kira finished. "This is a lot to take in, but I think this might be the best thing that could have happened." Kira nodded, a comfortable silence falling between them. After a moment, she spoke up. "Emma, can you help me figure out girl stuff? I have all these new instincts and feelings, but there's so much I don't know." Emma laughed. "Oh, honey, you're in for quite an education, but don't worry, I've got your back." The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity as Kira adjusted to her new life. Shopping trips with Emma filled her closet with clothes that fit both her body and her newfound style. YouTube tutorials taught her the basics of makeup and hair care, and through it all, Kira found herself reveling in the joys of her new existence. She joined the local art group, quickly becoming one of their most enthusiastic members. Her Wednesdays were spent laughing and creating with her new friends, her talent blossoming under their encouragement. Kira also discovered a love for yoga, joining a class at the nearby gym. The physical activity helped her become more comfortable in her new body, and she enjoyed the sense of community among her classmates. As her confidence grew, Kira decided it was time to look for a job. She applied to a small gallery in town, her portfolio of recent paintings earning her a position as an assistant curator. With each passing day, memories of her life as Kevin felt more distant. The basement that had once been her entire world now seemed like a relic from another lifetime. Kira moved her things to the spare room upstairs, transforming it into a bright, airy space that reflected her new personality. One evening, as Kira and Emma sat on the porch enjoying the sunset, Emma broached a subject they'd been avoiding. "Have you thought about telling Mom and Dad?" Kira sighed, twirling a strand of hair around her finger. "I've been thinking about it a lot, actually. I'm just scared. What if they don't understand?" Emma reached over and squeezed her hand. "They love you. It might take some time, but they'll come around, and I'll be right there with you." Kira nodded, gathering her courage. "Okay, let's call them tomorrow. It's time they met their daughter." The conversation with their parents was difficult, filled with confusion, disbelief, and tears. But as Kira shared her story and explained how much happier and fulfilled she felt, their shock gradually gave way to cautious acceptance.
"We don't understand it," their father said finally. "But we can see how much you've changed, and not just physically. If this is what makes you happy, then we're happy for you." Their mother nodded in agreement, adding, "You'll always be ours no matter what. We love you, Kira." Hearing her parents use her new name brought fresh tears to Kira's eyes. "I love you too," she whispered. As the weeks turned into months, Kira's new life became her normal. She thrived at work, her artistic eye and friendly demeanor making her a favorite among the gallery's patrons. Her circle of friends grew, filling her days with laughter and new experiences. She even started dating, navigating the world of romance from a completely new perspective. There were awkward moments and learning curves, but Kira approached it all with the same enthusiasm she brought to every aspect of her new life. 1 year to the day after her transformation, Kira found herself back in the park where she'd rediscovered her love of art. As she set up her easel, a familiar figure caught her eye. The Mexican man from that fateful day stood nearby, his serape as colorful as ever. He smiled as Kira approached. "Ah, mi amiga, I see you found what you were looking for." Kira nodded, a mix of emotions swirling inside her. "The CD you gave me, it changed everything." The man's eyes twinkled. "The CD merely opened a door. You, my dear, were the one brave enough to step through it." "Will I ever change back?" Kira asked, surprised to find the idea filled her with dread. The man shook his head. "The magic shows us our true selves. This is who you were always meant to be." Kira smiled, feeling a sense of peace settle over her. "Thank you," she said softly.
The man tipped an invisible hat. "Live well, Kira. Your journey is just beginning." With that, he turned and walked away, soon lost in the crowd of the park. Kira returned to her easel, her heart full. As she began to paint, she reflected on the incredible path that had led her here. From a lost young man trapped in a virtual world to a confident woman embracing life in all its vibrant reality. The game had given her the chance to create her ideal self. But it was Kira's courage and determination that had truly transformed her life. As her brush danced across the canvas, bringing a beautiful scene to life, Kira knew with absolute certainty that she was exactly where she was supposed to be. The basement computer sat forgotten, gathering dust. The mysterious CD had disappeared the day after Kira's transformation, its purpose fulfilled. But its magic lived on in the joy Kira found in each new day, in the lives she touched with her art and her friendship, and in the endless possibilities that stretched out before her. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials if you want more wonderful content, early access, behind the scenes, and more. All links down below.